Hello, let's look at a document called Formatting Tools to Avoid in Microsoft Word. I have a document that I have created that utilizes text box, word art or smart art, shapes, drop caps, and callouts in a simple document that I wanted to show you some distinctions when a document like this is created and then taken over to a screen reader to be read. We are going to be looking at two different screen readers today. We are going to look at Kurzweil 3000, which is a very expensive screen reader, and we are going to look at a free screen reader so that we can compare the two screen readers, how it corresponds with this document and acts, not only how it sounds but also how it looks. Before we go over to the screen reader, I want to turn on the accessibility checker in this document. I do want to call your attention to this section. It does have quite a bit of errors and warnings in this document. With these types of formatting tools, I do want to point out that sometimes it is very difficult to remove these errors and warnings from the document, if not impossible, but they are very difficult to work with, so it is highly recommended that these are not used in a document. With that being said, let's open up this document in Kurzweil 3000. This is the document. As you can see, it does look a little bit different as to what we just saw. Let me turn on the screen reader and see how it reads.
This is an example of a text box. Let's see if the screen readers can read this text. Text box. Word art / smart art. This is an example of word art. Will the screen reader acknowledge it? This is an inserted rectangle shape. Shapes. Let's see what happens when shapes are inserted inside a document. Drop caps. This is an example of a drop cap. Will the screen reader identify it and read it? Callouts. Will the screen reader identify the callouts text? This is a callout.
Okay, that was Kurzweil 3000. As I said, it is a high-end or an expensive screen reader. Let's go down to our free screen reader called Natural Speaker, and let's look at the same document that we have before us. It does look different, and let's now see how it sounds.
Text box word art / smart art shapes. Let's see what happens when shapes are inserted inside a document. Drop caps. This is an example of a drop cap. Will the screen reader identify it and read it? Callouts. Will the screen reader identify the callouts text?
Okay, as you can see, we compared the two, and they did look differently when opened up in the screen reader, and they also sounded differently. We will look at what was going on. It looked like the text box in the free one, it read text box, but it skipped the text box here, did not identify that anything was even there. The word art, smart art, these two sentences that resided within that word art, it treated that as if it did not exist. It did not identify or show the double-headed arrow. It did not read this section of the shape at all. It did okay with the drop caps, but it did change the T and the W that were created as drop caps. It did read callouts, but when it got to this section, or the bubble thought that we call a callout, it did not identify that it existed in this document. So as you can see, the reason for this activity is not only just trying to relay to the class that these are formatting tools to avoid, but I wanted to try to let you have something that you could identify with what you've read and looking at the full impact of it in two different screen readers as part of an activity so that you could see the results of that. Thank you. You will be prompted to complete an activity. Please watch to the end of the video so that you receive instructions on what activity to complete.